Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a snack or dessert. It is a keto pumpkin bar or cake recipe. I got it off of Pinterest. I will link it down below. So one of the first things I had to do was make the pumpkin spice because I didn't want to go out and buy pumpkin spice, and I had all the ingredients here to make my own pumpkin spice. So really quickly, I'm going to show you what I used and the measurements for the pumpkin spice. I also got this recipe off of Pinterest as well. I used this recipe before, like a year ago, and it turned out really well. So this is a recipe that I will keep using for pumpkin spice. So the first thing was ground cloves, and I used 1/4 teaspoon of that. Then I used ground cinnamon, and I used 2 teaspoons of that. Then over here I have the ground nutmeg and the ground ginger, and I used 1/2 teaspoon of each. And then it's in here, and I just shook it up. I'm probably going to take a fork to mash up that lump right there, but I just shook it up and it smells really good. Then over here are the ingredients for the cake or bars, whatever you want to call them. So I have my almond flour, I have my pumpkin puree, I have the salt, I have the vanilla, my stevia, and then my baking soda in the back. I have 2 eggs that have been sitting out at room temperature. And then for my oil, I'm not using avocado oil. I'm substituting the avocado oil with 2 tablespoons of butter. So that is what I'm going to be using. As you can see, it's not many ingredients, and I like that. And you can also do an optional cream cheese frosting. I will be doing that, but I'm not going to put it on all the bars because my youngest son has a dairy intolerance. So I won't put any of the cream cheese frosting on his, but I will put it on my husband and mine. So this is what I got so far, and I'll be back to show you more in a little bit. All right, see you later. Okay, so in the bowl I have 1/2 cup of pumpkin puree, my 2 eggs, my butter, which I'm substituting the butter for the avocado oil, and then I have my 1/4 cup of stevia, and then I have my 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I'm going to mix this all up, and then I'll come back and show you the rest. Okay, so I just added the last of the ingredients, and I'm going to tell you what's in here real quick. So I did a cup and 1/4 cup of almond flour. Then I did a 1.5 teaspoons of the pumpkin spice. I have a teaspoon of baking powder, and then it was 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So now I'm going to blend this all up. I'll be back once I pour it into my greased pan, and then I'm going to let it bake for 30 minutes. All right, I'll be back. Okay, so this is what the mixture looks like all together. I'm going to pop it in the oven for 30 minutes, and I had to preheat my oven for 350. And I just wanted to say that I think almond flour and pumpkin go well together. I did a recipe a couple of years ago where I made a pumpkin pie, and I had to use these ingredients. But I'll come back and talk about that in a moment. I'm going to go ahead and pop this in the oven. Okay, so like I was saying, the reason why I think that the almond flour and the pumpkin goes well together is because a couple of years ago I had made a low carb pumpkin pie, and the ingredients or the recipe called for an almond crust, and it was a really quick and fast recipe. It was just almond flour, maple syrup, and water, and I think it was only a tablespoon of maple syrup. I will try to find that recipe because I have it pinned on Pinterest, but I'll find it and I'll link it down below along with this keto pumpkin recipe. But that crust was really good, and the pumpkin with it, the pumpkin pie filling, it was really good. And we actually had to use that pie crust recipe a couple of weeks ago. My youngest son, he did a unit study on Massachusetts, and their state dessert is the Boston cream pie. So I had to find a filling that was dairy free, which I did, and it was quick and easy. I'll have to come back and show you guys that another time if you want to see it. And for his pie crust, we did that low carb almond crust that I was just telling you about with the 3 ingredients. He loved it. He loved it. So that's all I wanted to say about that. But I'll be back later when the bars are done, and I'll show you what they look like when they're done. All right, see you later. Okay, I'm back, and this is the final result for my keto pumpkin bars. This is what it looks like. It has a nice brown golden edge. I'm gonna let this sit and cool, and then I'm gonna come back. I don't know if I'll probably show the cream cheese frosting. I think what I'm gonna do is do half with the cream cheese frosting and then leave the other half without the cream cheese frosting, like I mentioned for my youngest son. But this is what it looks like, and it smells so good. But this is what it looks like, guys. All right, see you later. Bye. Okay, I'm back. So this is what it looks like with the cream cheese frosting on the left. Like I mentioned before, I'm leaving the right side unfrosted. The frosting was really quick and easy to make. I did have to tweak it a little bit because I didn't have the full measurements, and I'll get to that in a moment. I do want to tell you what the original recipe called for. So it called for 8 ounces of soft cream cheese. It called for 2/3 cups of stevia or swerve, and it also called for a teaspoon of vanilla. So I did not have enough stevia left because I used the majority of what I had in the recipe for the keto pumpkin bars. So all I had left was 1/3 of a cup of stevia. So I used that. Then I used a half of a stick of butter, and I used 4 ounces of cream cheese, and I did use the full teaspoon of the vanilla. It turned out fine. The flavor is there. It's just not the quantity. But this is fine. I think this is enough. So I'm going to let this cool even more, and then I'm going to cut them up into little squares. So, all right, guys, this is what it looks like. See you later. Bye.